The part of your brain that makes you want something is a completely separate system from the part that makes you enjoy it. By the end of this, you'll understand why getting the thing you desperately wanted so often feels hollow, and why your own brain can feel like it's working against your happiness. This is the hidden engine behind consumerism, addiction, and the feeling that satisfaction is always just one more purchase, one more click, one more goal away. These two systems run on different chemistry inside your skull. One is the wanting system. Think of it as the gas pedal. It's loud. It's urgent. It runs on the neurotransmitter dopamine. The second is the liking system. This is the arrival. It's a quiet, warm, and fleeting feeling of contentment. It runs on your brain's own opioids and endocannabinoids. Wanting is the frantic search for water when you're thirsty. Liking is the actual feeling of cool liquid soothing your throat. One is a promise. The other is the fulfillment. For decades, scientists thought these were the same thing. That dopamine was the pleasure molecule. The story of how they discovered their mistake is both famous and deeply unsettling. In the 1950s, two researchers, James Olds and Peter Milner, implanted an electrode into a specific part of a rat's brain. The rat could press a lever to deliver a tiny jolt of electricity to that spot, and the rats loved it. They would press the lever again and again. They would cross painful electrified grids to get to it. They would choose the lever over food, over water, even over mating. Some would press it thousands of times an hour, stopping only when they collapsed from sheer exhaustion. They would literally starve themselves to death for a zap of electricity. The researchers thought they had found the brain's ultimate pleasure center, a direct line to pure bliss. This finding was so powerful, it seemed to explain everything about motivation and reward. There was just one problem. They were completely wrong. The rats weren't experiencing pleasure. They were experiencing pure, unfiltered, bottomless wanting. That electrode was planted directly in the dopamine-driven mesolimbic pathway, the wanting circuit. The rats felt an ever-increasing, irresistible urge to press the lever again. Each press delivered a surge of dopamine, which told the brain, "That was important. Do it again." The jolt created an intense promise of a fantastic reward that was about to arrive, but the reward never came. The liking system was never activated. The rats were trapped in an infinite loop of craving. They died chasing a satisfaction that was forever just around the corner. Sound familiar? This is the core mechanism of every slot machine, every social media feed, and every shopping app on your phone. They are engineered levers. They are designed to stimulate your wanting circuit while delivering the absolute minimum of actual liking. The little red dot of a notification, the endless scroll of a feed, the act of adding an item to a digital cart. Each one is a small press of the lever. It triggers a hit of dopamine, a promise of connection, novelty, or satisfaction. The pleasure is in the anticipation. You feel it in the moment you click "Buy now." The feeling you have a week later, when the package has arrived and the object is just another piece of stuff in your home, is entirely different. The wanting circuit has moved on. It's already looking for the next thing to promise you happiness. This system is ancient. It evolved to keep us alive, to keep us seeking food, water, and mates. It's designed to never be fully satisfied. A satisfied ancestor was a dead ancestor, one who stopped looking for the next meal or a safer cave didn't pass on their genes. Your brain is the direct descendant of the ones that always wanted more. The problem is that we now live in a world of artificial superstimuli, an environment that offers an endless supply of levers to press. And this has a cost. So we have this powerful wanting engine and this much quieter liking system. What would happen if we just turned the wanting engine off? You might assume people would become enlightened, content with what they have. The reality is far stranger and much darker. Patients with Parkinson's disease, for example, suffer from a die-off of dopamine-producing cells. One of the primary symptoms is a profound apathy, a loss of motivation. Patients on certain antipsychotic medications that block dopamine receptors report a similar experience. The world loses its color, its texture. They describe it as a state of anhedonia, the inability to feel pleasure. Here's the crucial detail. If you place a drop of sugar water on the tongue of a person with a disabled dopamine system, their facial expression will show pleasure. Their opioid liking system still works perfectly. They like the sugar, they just won't make any effort to get it. They won't get up from a chair to pour themselves a glass. The spark is gone. Wanting isn't just for craving new things. It's the engine of all intentional action. It's what gets you out of bed in the morning. It's the force that drives you to cook a meal, to call a friend, to finish a project. Without it, you can like, but you cannot live. You become a ghost in your own life, capable of experiencing pleasure, but incapable of seeking it. This reveals the paradox we are all caught in. We need the wanting system to function, but that very same system is so powerful and easily hijacked that it can drown out our ability to enjoy the things we actually get. Worse, it actively sabotages our ability to feel good. Think of your brain's capacity for pleasure and pain as a seesaw. When you experience something pleasurable, the pleasure side goes down. Your brain, which craves balance or homeostasis, will then push down on the pain side to level things out. This is the fleeting feeling of disappointment or emptiness after a moment of intense excitement. Neuroscientist Anna Lemke calls this the opponent process reaction. It's a fundamental mechanism. Now imagine what happens when you press a dopamine lever over and over. A huge shopping spree, a weekend of binge watching, a gambling win. You are slamming the pleasure side of the seesaw to the ground. In response, your brain doesn't just level the seesaw, it pushes the pain side down even harder, anticipating the next hit. With repeated, intense stimulation of the wanting circuit, your brain's neutral set point begins to tilt toward the side of pain. Your baseline level of contentment gets lower and lower. You now need bigger and bigger hits just to feel normal. And more terrifyingly, simple natural pleasures can no longer move the needle. A walk in the park, the taste of fresh fruit, a good conversation. These things used to be enough to gently press down on the pleasure side. Now, with the seesaw tilted so far toward pain, their effect is non-existent. They can't compete. This is the physiological process of building tolerance. It's the core of addiction, but it's happening to all of us at a low grade, all the time. Our world of constant, low-level dopamine hits is slowly, imperceptibly eroding our capacity for simple joy. We're getting more of what we want and finding less enjoyment in what we have. So if the wanting system is essential but dangerous, and the liking system is fragile and easily overwhelmed, what do? We can't turn wanting off, and simply trying to enjoy more feels like a vague instruction. The path forward involves reducing the gap between the two systems. It's about consciously training your wanting system to desire the things that your liking system will genuinely register. This is harder than it sounds because our entire culture trains us to do the opposite. We're taught to want things that deliver huge, sharp spikes of dopamine. The promotion, the luxury car, the viral post, rather than things that deliver a sustained, gentle activation of the liking system. The first step is shifting focus from the outcome to the process. The wanting system is obsessed with the future. The liking system lives exclusively in the present moment. When you're working on a project, your wanting brain is fixated on the feeling of completion, the praise, the reward. But the liking can only happen now, in the feeling of focus, the small satisfaction of solving a problem, the texture of the materials you're working with. By deliberately directing your attention to the sensory experience of the process itself, you are simultaneously wanting and having. You are aligning the two systems. The desire to continue comes from the pleasure of the current moment, creating a self-sustaining loop of engagement. This is what athletes call the zone, and what artists call the flow. It's a state where wanting and liking become one. The second practice is savoring. This is the conscious act of paying attention to pleasure. When you get a piece of good news, your wanting system wants to immediately post about it, or use that energy to plan the next goal. The practice of savoring is to stop, to pause for 30 seconds and just feel the good feeling in your body. Let the liking system do its job without being interrupted. When you eat a good meal, you can consume it in 5 minutes while scrolling on your phone, giving your brain a confused mix of dopamine hits and muted taste signals. Or you can eat it slowly, paying attention to the taste and texture. This simple act of focused attention strengthens the neural circuits of liking, making them more robust and less easily drowned out by the noise of wanting. Finally, there's the cognitive reframe of wanting what you already have. Gratitude is the most common name for this, but it's a powerful neurological hack. It's about using your conscious mind to direct the wanting system toward things that are already in your possession. You think about your relationship, your health, your home, and you actively generate the feeling of desire and appreciation for them. This closes the loop. Instead of your wanting system always driving you out into the world to seek more, you're directing that powerful engine inward to light up the value of what's already here. This creates a profound sense of richness and contentment, directly counteracting the brain's natural tendency toward hedonic adaptation, where we take for granted the good things in our lives. These practices aren't about suppressing desire. They're about aiming it intelligently. But there is a final layer to this architecture. The brain has a third overarching system that governs both wanting and liking. It's the system that assigns meaning. You can use the exact same dopamine-driven wanting circuit to pursue a round of online poker or to pursue a medical degree to save lives. The underlying neurochemistry of seeking is identical. The brain buzzes with anticipation in both cases. Yet the long-term effect on your sense of well-being is completely different. The difference is purpose. A life driven by raw, untethered dopamine, a constant chase for the next hit of novelty, status, or stimulation, ultimately feels hollow. It's the life of the rat in the cage, pressing a lever to nowhere. A life where that same powerful wanting system is harnessed in the service of a deeply held value or purpose feels meaningful. The struggle, the effort, the delayed gratification, all of it becomes infused with significance. The wanting becomes a source of vitality, not a source of anxiety. It powers you through challenges, and the eventual liking that comes from achieving a difficult, meaningful goal is deeper and more lasting. It integrates into your identity. You don't just feel good, you become the kind of person who can accomplish such things. This is the role of the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that can think about the future and regulate your impulses. It can look at the screaming demands of the dopamine system and ask a simple, powerful question. Why? Why do I want this? Well, having it align with the person I aim to be, the challenge isn't to stop wanting. That's a recipe for apathy. The challenge is to want the things that are worth having. Your consciousness is not a battleground between a good liking system and a bad wanting system. It's a garden. The wanting system is the chaotic, powerful, unstoppable force of life and growth itself. Left untended, it will grow weeds and thorny vines that choke everything out. But with conscious cultivation, with purpose, it can be channeled to grow something magnificent. Most of your brain's wanting is automated, running on scripts you learn from your culture and your past. But the small part of you that can question those wants, that's where your freedom lives. And it's asking you, right now, what do you truly want to want?